My name is Lena Lid Falkman. I'm a scholar at SSE. I study leadership and organizations and communication. Welcome to my home. I'm away from office, as many of you are, I guess. We all should be, because we would need to get the economy going, but we should really stay away from crowds and stay away from going into work and being at work. So whatever we can do online right now is great. And I've been studying this, how the technology is changing the way we work, the way we lead, the way we cooperate. And I've been doing so for 10 years. So even though I'm really afraid of this disaster, I'm also intrigued of what it can do for the way we work with technology. Because technology has been there for quite some time now, but it's our way of working with it and our attitude that is now needing to change quite rapidly. And the last 10 years or so, I've been studying technology, how social media is changing relationships between managers and their coworkers, how virtual meetings and virtual teams and leadership on a distance works. And I thought I would talk about some of my research and other scholars' research today. So we're in the middle of the disaster. We have other disasters such as bad weather, Eyjafjallajökull, and other things that have changed our behavior, but this is changing our behavior a lot more. I've been intrigued by how we're going to a paperless society, and I really haven't got into that, as you can see from I love books the way I am, and I also have a lot of thinking about how to create the balance between family life and work life, such as many of us. And that is, of course, affected also when we work from our homes. Technology is, of course, fantastic. The possibilities that we have on co-working are great, that we could really work with people that have the best competence and are best for the mission, not the person that sits closest to us. And I was kind of skeptic until some 7 years ago when I was put together with 3 other scholars, 2 in the US and 1 in Holland, and we were supposed to do a book together. And I was like, yeah, we'll see how that goes. It will fall out it won't work. But it really did, much thanks to the organizational psychologist in San Francisco that led us, because she really took time for us to meet. So we would meditate, we would do check-ins to talk about how we felt and where we were in life. So these people are some of my best colleagues now, and also very good friends. And I know how they look from here to here, but I have no idea how tall they are or how they smell, because I've only seen this part, but I've seen that for many hours. And I think that those hours are one of the keys to make this work, that we get used to the technique, that we play around with it, that we use the tools for interactivity, where you can chat, where you can use raise hands, to get everyone activated in an online meeting. Another thing that is really important in an online meeting is to be very clear. So the meeting leader needs to be really specific what is going to happen and when and whose time it is. Because one thing that changes is that when you sit around a meeting table and you need to just check in, and everyone is reporting maybe about their projects, about the process of their project. We take turns the way we sit around the table, and that just doesn't work in an online meeting. So therefore, the leader of the meeting needs to be clear. Okay, Anna, this is your time. Are you finished? Okay, then it's Aram's time. And now, are you done? Okay, let's go to Muhammad, so that the turn taking is managed, because it won't come by itself. What's really interesting about online meetings and leadership from a distance is that it actually takes away some of the things that can happen when we meet in person, that managers that are really cool or maybe charismatic, they can come in and rule a room just by their presence. But when you work in a distance, things like that are not as important. It's more important that you do what you promise, that you send an email when you promise to do that, that you log on in time. And research done by Lena Sander at Uppsala University has actually shown that leadership from a distance actually is better for female leaders, because it's all about that being transparent, being communicative, and not being just a person that can take in a room. So that is very interesting research going on. And I've read quite a bit of research that deals with trust, because one of the things that are held against working in virtual teams and working in distance is that you don't get any trust. And that is simply not true. When you meet a new person, maybe a new coworker, you take a coffee, you talk, oh, you have a dog, I also have a dog, and I like strong coffee. Great, we're going to work good together. But having the same things and identifying with each other really doesn't mean that you can work great together. But when you work with someone virtually, specifically if you haven't met that person before, you're just introduced online, when they come back in time, when they deliver, when they promised, when they are online in time, when they're mailing, when they're supposed to, you get trust. And the researchers call this action-based trust rather than relational trust. So therefore, it's quite important to be in time when you're trying to be online. To do what you say in a virtual meeting is just as important and just as valid as something that you've said physically in a meeting. It's just as valid. It's not a less version of a meeting. It's just a different type of meeting. So this is truly a crisis. I do believe that we cannot only focus on being executive to deal with everything, to just sort problems. I also think that we need a lot of empathy right now. People are worried for themselves, for their parents, for their kids. So as managers, leaders, and co-workers, I think we also need to take time in our online meetings to get a coffee and ask, how are you doing? What are you worried about? Just take time for empathy and not only to execute things and get things going. So wash your hands, take care, be away from office, and work from home. Bye.